The league action has finally begun and everybody will show some effort. Well, everybody besides How.
Pokemon Ranger, I choose you!
What's up my dear boys and girls, it's Ranger Boy here and welcome to another review of the Pokemon Sun and Moon anime. We finally entered the action part of the ALOLA League with episode 129, the Great Fray, Battle Royale 151. And since this is not really a classic Battle Royale, but instead a Battle Royale with 151 trainers in it, there will be a lot of things going on. But is it all good? Or is there also some bad stuff? Well, if you want to know more, then grab some popcorn, grab some cookies and let's do this. Of course, the only way to start the beginning of the upcoming Battle Royale is to let Ash walk a dark hall and let him walk towards the light. Just like back then in the Kalos League, but instead of facing Alan in the finals, we are facing numerous obstacles, or in this case, a lot of fodder, like the baseball player, the annoying old fishing man, and the cute Kahili. By the way, this is the only scene you will ever see of her. But we also reunite with relevant people like Mina, Ghost Lolly Acerola, and Jesse and James cosplaying as Xena and Dexiel. I like that! Unlike last week, where we only got a glimpse of him, we finally will see Ilima in action. But will he play a major role this time? Will Team Skull's top finally realize that he's not as popular as Ilima? Find out next time on ALOLA League Z. But jokes aside, let's finally enter the Battle Royale where 151 people will participate and eliminate each other until there's only 16 people left. And who is the first trainer to shine in the spotlight? Well, obviously, it's the Pokenchi guy, who just like back then, immediately gets one shot. And this nature of one-shotting opponents will be the main theme of this Battle Royale and the episode, because the following minutes consist of Ash and his friends one-shotting every opponent they face. Ash, for example, one-shots 2 Pokemon with 1 attack. Twice. Meanwhile, Lana and Marlo one-shot 3 Pokemon, but without even showing any actual action. Kiawe seems to one-shot Salamence, but Lily is all like, you wanna steal my spotlight? Hell no! And steals the win from Kiawe. But in the Sun and Moon universe, this was called teamwork. Aw, Lily, you dirty girl. Not the first time I saw you being dirty. Dirty girl. But the best thing is that Togedemaru, after 129 episodes, finally uses another move besides Sing Zap. She uses Spiky Shield. Oh my god. I mean, that still kinda shows how partly incompetent Sophocles as a trainer is, since he needed over 120 episodes to let his main Pokemon learn a new move, but hey,
it's better than nothing.
But not only our main characters are one-shotting left and right, but also side characters like Pikachu, Otaku, Picala. And it's not with Bancho, but with a Pikachu called Boruto, with Boruto hair. When I saw that, I called my brother and showed it to him, because he actually watched Boruto. And his answer basically was, why would they make a reference to something which is utter trash? Garbage! I haven't seen Boruto, so I can't judge. And just like garbage, Boruto gets taken out immediately by Mimikyu. But after minutes of constant one-hit KOs, including one epic one from Gladion, we finally get a really good and really badass moment between Gladion and Ash. Intense stare down, which kind of felt really sexual at times, while also one-shotting incoming opponents without even looking away. Badass! And with both stating to each other to not lose in the Battle Royale, they part ways, like 2 badasses would do. Anyway, after Kiawe made quick business with Bogane's henchmen, we finally get to see Ilima in action by first eliminating several Team Skullgrunts without even sweating, of course, and soon after that it's a battle of Ilima versus Guzma's right hand, Plumeria, and he insta-kills her as well.
Wait, what? Long, stop joking. That's Plumeria, Guzma's right hand woman, and in the games she even challenges the champion. Stop joking around, man.
I'm sorry, but I'm not joking. I will tell you how the battle proceeded. They encounter each other, she hits Eevee with Dragon Claw, and while dodging the first Dragon Pulse, Eevee injures its leg. And even while being chased by another Dragon Pulse attack, Eevee jumps in the air, hits a swift attack, and with that one freaking attack, Ilima defeats Plumeria. You guys might understand that I'm a little bit pissed, and I will later explain why. Let's just continue with the rest. One shot by Guzma with another intense stare down between him and Kukui. A pretty good back and forth battle between Mimikyu and Pikachu, of course without the involvement of Jessie. But before we come to a conclusion between those two, Kiawe eliminates the last Pokemon with his Z move, and therefore we reach the final 16 participants for the ALOLA League. Everyone of course pats themselves on their back because they did such a great job. And then here comes How! Have you guys realized that during my Battle Royale recap, I never mentioned one single word about How? Well, that's because he never has been shown! Not for a single second! Even though he now is confirmed to have an Alolan Raichu as a new Pokemon. He has a new Pokemon, but hasn't been showcased throughout the entirety of the Battle Royale. I mean, wow. And before the episode ends, we see who's facing who in the knockout phase of the league. Ash vs Faber, Ilima vs Guzma, Hao vs Samson Oak, Marlo vs Lana, which I'm really looking forward to, Sophocles vs Mina, Jesse vs James, which in my opinion could be a surprisingly good battle, Kiao vs Acerola, and the match really everybody is looking forward to, Gladion vs Lily. If you want to know what my actual opinion is on each and every matchup, then follow my Twitter, because I want to tackle the ratings as quick as possible. So, ratings. What can I say about the story? And my god, this episode was a mess. Just the idea of having 151 trainers with their Pokemon in one small area means that the main task of this episode should be to let the main players of the ALOLA League shine. The problem is that you can't really focus on establishing the main characters as legit if they do nothing but constantly one-shot your opponent. For people like Gladion, Ash, Kiawe and Guzma, it's kinda okay, but for people like Marlo and Lana, who barely use Eevee/Shaymin in a battle at all, whose main purpose is to be either a cute mascot Pokemon or a blatant game promotion, we now are supposed to believe that they are such badasses that they can easily take down several Pokemon with one-hit KOs. We are supposed to believe that Marlo and Lana's untrained Pokemon can do that. Sun and Moon really wants us to believe that Lily and especially Sophocles, who needed 129 episodes for his Togedemaru to finally learn a new move, can even scratch on the surface of Ash, Gladion and Kiawe when it comes to battling skills. I mean, come on guys! Next, let's talk about the Plumeria debacle. That right there was Plumeria's first battle in the anime. Her first major impression of the right hand of Guzma. And to sum up her first impression, it was not good. Granted, she gave Ilima a little bit of a challenge and the main goal was to put Ilima over and to make him look really strong. But did Plumeria really had to be sacrificed for this, and in such a manner? She's so weak, nearly as weak as the grunts, that she got one shot by a swift attack of an Eevee. Thank you, Sun and Moon Anime. You killed a character who in the games actually challenged the champion. And if that wasn't enough, let's talk about Hao, or in this case, the non-existence of Hao. Like I said, the main goal of this battle royale should have been to showcase the main players and why they are supposed to be the top 16 in Alola. But as short as the displays of Ash, Kiawe, Gladion and Guzma were, as BS as the displays of Marlo, Lily, Lana and Sophocles were, at least they were there. At least we have seen them do something. They had screen time, but Hao had 0 seconds of screen time to show off his skills. Just for comparisons, they showed more of Picala and her Boruto Pikachu. They showcased the Pokenchi guy more than they showed Hao, even though he had a brand new Pokemon and a Alolan Raichu. So in short, they preferred comedy and references over legitimacy and establishing a main player of the league. I mean, I'm just shocked guys, I'm shocked. The Alola League already lacked proper build-up and development before, and thanks to all that, the hype for this league was nearly dead. And now you add all this and the Alola League is almost dead. So what keeps the Alola League from beginning as a total disaster? Well, I will tell you. First, the Gladion vs Ash interaction. It was not only freaking badass, but in just a short segment, you legitimized both in a huge way. And this right here was the only time where the one-shotting your opponent concept actually worked. The second savior of the episode was the announcement of the upcoming matches, which to me was like a sudden shock, which revived the almost dead body called the Alola League. Most of the matchups are great, and matches like Lana vs Marlo, Jesse vs James, and Lily vs Gladion, I can't wait for that. Check out my Twitter if you want to know my opinion on each and every one of them. Last but not least, the clash between Pikachu and Mimikyu was pretty awesome, and with that open ending, a great tease for a future potential match. But yeah, those 3 factors saved the Alola League from being a hype derail train wreck. But because of all the BS I mentioned before, I sadly have no other choice but to give this episode a 4 out of 10, and in my opinion, a perfect example of how Sun and Moon treats their own characters. Unbelievable. What can I say about the focus? The Great Fray, Battle Royale 151, and I really don't have to say anything anymore. The main focus was the Battle Royale aspect. I told you what this Battle Royale should have done, aka making the main players legit, and thanks to the one-shots everywhere, barely any of them seemed like legit league contenders. The only people they established as guys who really do belong in the league are Ash, Gladion and Ilima. The one scene of Ash and Gladion, it was just so well executed. It told a story and was well paced. And even though I totally disagree about the treatment of Plumeria, at least it somewhat made Ilima a little bit more relevant. At least more relevant than Hao. For Hao alone, the focus totally failed. But if you add the other factors I mentioned before, I will give the focus a 5 out of 10. Last but not least, animation. Overall, very decent animation. My main highlight of course being the Ash vs Gladion encounter and how intense it has been showcased. The stare down, the one-hit KO of incoming enemies, just awesome. Like I mentioned before, the Pikachu vs Mimikyu battle was really good, and animation wise it was also very nice to look at. Last but not least, I also liked Turtonator's Shell Smash animation and how he immediately moved so much quicker, and the way they animated that in my opinion was really impressive. Sadly, I can't really tell you who animated which part since my source wasn't able to figure it out yet, and the only thing I know is that the OG animator Masaki Iwano animated the ending theme. But yeah, like many times, the animation saved the day, 8 out of 10. So this episode scores a 5.66 out of 10, and if it wasn't for the animation, this episode would have been one of the worst Sun and Moon episodes ever. But luckily, we have Gladion and Ash, who saved the day. Anyway guys, I really hope you enjoyed this review, and just like always, I see you guys in the comments down below.